Alrighty. Good morning, everyone. Today we have a great podcast episode for you. We have Kirk Miller, who is a co-founder at the local popular pizza restaurant, Pizza Artista. We're going to be talking with him about his upbringing and just kind of how life led him to co-founding Pizza Artista. So yeah, you're listening to the Tea. So go ahead and tell us how you're doing and tell us kind of a little bit about yourself.
Hey, man. Well, I appreciate you inviting me to be here today.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, I got a little sinus thing going on, so if I sound a little raspy.
That's all right. Look, man, I had a little bit of a sinus thing a couple weeks ago, so it's I know it's going around.
It's going around.
Hopefully I don't get it again.
Yeah. But, yeah, like you said, I'm a co-owner of Pizza Artista. And actually born and raised in Church Point.
All right.
Some people know that. Some people don't know that. And I have two business partners, Scott and Cynthia McClaskey. Me and Scott actually worked together for quite a few years for a major pizza chain. And when we left the company, we were executives, regional executives. And there were some things happening. We just kind of thought it was a good time to go into to business and do our own thing. It's something we had kind of talked about for a while.
Yeah.
So it just seemed like the right time. I had a friend, because we were actually the first fast casual pizza concept in Louisiana. Some people don't know that.
Really?
Yeah, but in March of 2015, when we opened the Lafayette location in Time Plaza, we were the first. Before the Blaze and the Mods and the Lits and all these guys came along.
Yeah.
So, so when me and Scott had kind of decided to leave the company we were working for, we started planning, and we spent about a year actually doing our business plan before we opened.
And what year was this?
2014. We opened in 2015.
Got it.
So at the beginning of 2014, late 2013, when we made the decision to leave, one of my friends, who was also working for the same company, heard about the fact that we were leaving and said, hey, if you guys want to stay in the pizza business, well, first he tried to recruit me to go work for him. And I was like, well, I want to stay close to my family. I love Acadiana, so I want to stay, there's no place like Acadiana, right?
Right.
So I wanted to stay around here. And, so he said, well, look, if you guys want to stay in the pizza business, y'all should really go check out this new concept on the West Coast. So me and Scott went out there and visited a few days, ate more pizza than two people should ever eat in their life, and visited a lot of the newer fast casual pizza concepts. Took a lot of notes and said, hey, this would be pretty cool. We can come back to Louisiana, put our little spin on it, do some Cajun pizzas and different things. And so we were able to do that. We opened again in March of 2015. It's kind of hard to believe that it's been over 7 years. And I remember developing Lafayette because you were like one of the first people that had heard about it. And we actually had to kind of tell you to keep it on the down low.
Yeah.
Before
so
the word got out.
That's a funny little side story. In starting what I do, I didn't have any great resources. I was still trying to find my way around getting information and who to contact. I moved here in 2010. I don't have a wealth of local knowledge of people and who to contact. So, I got wind of the concept and I was like, I don't know who to contact, so I'm just going to write about it. And I got immediately contacted like, hey, you need to take this down because the people's jobs are at stake. I'm like, whoa, what's happening? Okay, I don't mind taking it down, but when can I put it back up? Because this is what I do.
Right.
I let people know what's coming, and people are starting to ask hey, what's happening here? Because I get that a lot.
Right.
So yeah, that's just a little side story.
So there. that was kind of crazy because we did a really good job of not really letting people know what we were doing. And then all of a sudden we had heard from you, and then when you did announce it, evidently they had some pizza places in Time Plaza before,
Okay.
and
So what happened with that?
well, maybe they didn't last that long.
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure why, but I think they actually had 2 pizza places in Time Plaza at one time. And so everybody's kind of on that bandwagon, oh, yeah, I'll give them 3 months. I'll give them 6 months, whatever. And so every time we'd hit the 3-month or the 6-month time period, we would like celebrating. Hey, we
a milestone, man.
Yeah, so, it was a milestone. And now, like I said, it's going to be over 7.5 years that we've been open.
7.5 years. Like, congrats on that.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, it is. And, both me and Scott have been in the restaurant business, both of us, for over 35 years. And, and I tell people, I've seen a lot of things, but I know I haven't seen everything. And so in the last 7.5 years, I probably have seen more in the last 7.5 years that has surprised me than the other 25 years that I've been in the restaurant business.
What do you mean? What do you mean? How are you surprised over the past 7 years?
We've never had a pandemic.
Right. Oh yeah.
To deal
that
with,
for sure.
Right. And that was major. I mean, that was a major, major thing to go from blowing and going to, hey, you got to shut it down. That was like really crazy. And that was at the beginning of 2020. So we had all the restaurants already open. We opened Lafayette in 2015. We opened our Lake Charles location in 2016, so like a year and a half later. And then people were coming to us saying, hey, we'd like to franchise. We like it. It's cool. It's a cool concept. You guys have great pizza. And but it was still like our baby. It was still in its infancy. So we were like, oh, and then we looked into seeing what it would take to become a franchisor. And that's like incredible. That whole process is like, it's probably more complicated than just opening a restaurant.
So to make sure that people are on the same page, and I as well, you are, to become a franchisor, you mean like to be the group that allows franchisees to adopt your concept and open it. Okay, making sure.
Yeah, so, we've fulfilled all the requirements of the government to be able to offer our brand to other private owners that would basically operate their business like a Pizza Artista. So we did have one of our really close friends who came to us and said, man, I love what you guys are doing. I'd like to open a store in Broussard. And so we weren't looking to go to Broussard at the time, but he was eager. He was, wanting to do it.
Yeah.
So we got our stuff in line. It was very expensive to become a franchisor. All the stuff you have to do to be the things that you have to meet as far as for government requirements.
So legal stuff.
The legal stuff.
That's expensive.
Yeah, very expensive.
Okay.
But we got all that done, and then Troy opened, Troy Doran, who's the franchisee in Broussard. He opened in May of 2000 and
it was either 2017 or 18, right?
18, I believe. Yeah, 2018, because he's been open almost 5 years. So, and he's doing really well out there in Broussard. And as Broussard grows, his business just keeps on growing. So
yeah,
it's really
and
cool.
Broussard is a unique community. I mean, just like Lafayette, the Lafayette Parish area, we're very tight knit, and in the way people talk to each other and communicate and care for each other. So Broussard, another great place. I mean, honestly, you guys, and I don't know anything about your future plans at the moment, but you guys could probably open a location in Broussard, Youngsville, Karen Crow, Lafayette. You could probably go to Brobridge, and each one of those would have its own personality, its own client base, and would probably do well.
And we've been approached by quite a few people. We've been approached to go to Brobridge.
Okay.
People ask us all the time to go to Karen Crow.
Dude, I live in Karen Crow. Trust me.
I mean,
trust me.
And I've got some of my stepdaughters live in Karen Crow, and they're like, please come to Karen Crow,
So on that vein, why are y'all waiting for franchisees? for that, or do you not want to go that close to your home base?
No, actually, we're going to build some more corporate stores.
Okay.
Not to
Yeah, don't divulge anything
yeah,
yet.
Yeah, we're definitely going to open some more stores in Acadiana.
Okay.
And there'll probably be corporate stores.
Okay.
It just makes sense, for us because it's easier for us to supervise. I still live in Church Point. I'm looking for some property in Karen Crow, but right now I live in Church Point. And so, it's easy for us to oversee, when you have stores in one area. And then Lafayette's just been so good to Pizza Artista. I mean, we opened, and in the beginning, we didn't have any brand name recognition, right?
Right.
Nobody knew the concept. The only thing people knew about pizza was, hey, you go in, you have a waitress, you sit down, you drink some beer, you wait a while, your pizza comes. Right?
Fast casual pizza was not a thing.
Was not a thing. I mean, they had the Mexican places, Izzo's. They had Subway, but nothing for pizza. So when we came to town, it was definitely different, but we didn't have the name recognition. So that took a few months. And then we just started saying, man, we just need to get creative and come up with some pizzas that are just like off the chain.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm born and raised in Church Point. I go to Texas, to Southeast Texas, and I eat a boudin quesadilla.
In Southeast Texas.
Southeast Texas.
Okay, so what is that, like orange?
It was Beaumont.
Okay, good, close.
And I was like, man, this is pretty good. I said, I should go back and, see if I can do a boudin pizza. So, I mean, as soon as I got back to town, I started working on the boudin pizza. And then we came out with the boucherie. Good Cajun name, right? The boucherie, because it had the andouille, the Cajun sausage, the boudin, the steen syrup.
Oh, the steens is what really tops it off.
The crackling dust that we put on it.
Crackling dust?
Crackling dust.
Okay, I didn't know about that.
Yeah. And it went people went crazy for it.
You'll still have it?
We still have it.
Cool.
Yeah, it's one of the most popular pizzas we have.
What boudin is it? Not from East Texas, is it?
No, it's a local company.
You can't. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, everybody would come in and say, "Oh man, what kind of boudin you guys use?" And in the beginning, we would tell them,
Yeah.
And then some people would get offended.
Oh, why you didn't use my favorite place?
Yeah, that's not my. I like this one better, and
I'm
friends with so and so. You should be using his. So we do source it. It is local.
That's good. Hey,
and
you know what?
And it's a company from Scott. I'll just tell you.
I mean, the boudin capital of the world. Come on,
it's the boudin capital of the world. And the Cajun meats come from the same place. So the tasso and the Cajun sausage. But anyhow, that pizza. We had a food blogger at the Advertiser that wrote an article, and it got so much attention that it got picked up by the local TV stations.
Yeah.
And so, the next day, they were like, "Hey, can we come and do a little spot on your new pizza?" And our sales went up 40% overnight.
Wow.
And they've never gone down since then. So, the good thing is we have a great pizza that we had come out with, but then what we did is we set the bar so high that every other pizza we came out with
was basic looking, right?
Right. You had better make sure it was like a crazy, great pizza. So we did. We've come out with we got some really cool basic signature pizzas like barbecue chicken but we do, so we did the boucherie. We have the squealing mac and cheese.
And it has actual mac and cheese on it.
It has mac and cheese, tasso, bacon, and steen syrup on it. It's... some people say it feeds their soul.
Mm-hmm. It's
so really good pizza. Yeah. The Fig and Awesome. That's been often.
I love the name.
Yeah, often imitated but never duplicated. And we use figs, tasso, boudin, brie cheese, provolone, and then a lot of our steens. Mr. Billy Steen is a fan of Pizza Artista, so we use. There's a really funny story with that. I don't know if we have enough time to go into that, but
let's. I want to get to that story. We do have a couple of comments coming in, So a Donna Fontenot says, great pizza. And then we have a couple of people tagging each other. Then you have an Angie Power saying, need a Louisiana Avenue at I-10 location 2. Obviously the north side area, Karen Crow would benefit from that. And then Donna comments again, you'll do a great job marketing. Also fundraising for local charities, and some heart emojis. Congratulations on your success.
Okay, well, I appreciate that.
And then while we're at it, let's go ahead and get our sponsors mentioned, and then we'll continue with that story. Don't forget where we left off. So our sponsor, like you guys already know, the Music Academy of Acadiana, Acadiana's top choice for music lessons. So they're a local company, locally founded. Tim Benson, who is a UL Lafayette music school graduate, founded the company several years ago. He's a musician. He just started an emo cover band because, a toast to the emo era of the early 2000s. Great local company. They teach students of all ages and styles. So if you want to learn guitar, drums, violin, saxophone, flute, if you want to get into audio production, they do that as well. They have about 500 students in and out each month that are enrolled, probably more now because that number was from several months ago because the Music Academy has been sponsoring for at least a couple of years now or more. And so we really appreciate them. Ultimately, you can learn more about them at their website, which you can see musicacademyacadiana.com. Their goal is to help make music lessons fun, educational, and to help foster the next generation of musicians and creative thinkers. So we really appreciate them. And and if you're looking to sponsor our podcast, also reach out to us on our Facebook page. We'd love to work with you. Alrighty, so we got our business out of the way there. Let's go back to the story you were talking about, because you mentioned Billy Steen is a fan of your company, and then you were about to say something. So let's get back to that. What was that?
Okay. So, it's a pretty funny story. So we had only been open a few months, and the boucherie had just kind of went through its, its little 15 minutes of fame or whatever. Everybody knew about the boucherie. Well, we have an attorney here in River Ranch, Mr. Emil Joseph, who's our business attorney. And so he helped us out forming the company and everything. But one day I was working in the restaurant, and one of my team members came up to me and said, "Hey, Mr. Kirk, this gentleman over here wants to talk to you." I said, "Oh, wow." She said, "Yeah, he's asking about us using his syrup."
Oh.
Like, oh, man. Okay.
Oh, boy.
Well,
do you get a lot of local companies trying to sell you on their product to use in your restaurant?
We have basically kind of made sure that we use a lot of the local products because nobody can duplicate stuff that's made in Acadiana, right?
There's no other Steen syrup.
There's no other Steen syrup, right? And most people don't even know what cane syrup is, in other parts of the country. So we use Steen syrup. We use Tabasco products. We have a pizza right now called the Cajun I Am. And, we use, not that it's owned by Bruce's anymore, I don't think, but we use Bruce's yams to make the pizza.
All right.
Do a lot of that. But getting back to Mr. Steen. So I looked over and I saw an older gentleman and an older lady. And Mr. Jimmy Steen was in his all-in-ones, so it kind of reminded me a little bit of my grandfather. And so I went over there and I said, "How you doing?" Introduced myself, and he said, "Yeah." He said, "I'm Billy Steen. I heard you guys been using my syrup on your pizzas." And so the first thought that goes into
lawsuit
my head is, man, there's something I didn't comply with or whatever. We only been in business a few months. We're gonna get sued. And I said, "Yeah, Mr. Jimmy." I said, I was raised on Steen syrup. One of my favorite snacks is Steen syrup and peanut butter, and we just started laughing and joking. But what had happened is Mr. Jimmy Steen's attorney is also Emil Joseph. And Emil was reading an ad while he was having a counseling session with Mr. Jimmy and said, "Look, Jimmy, they're using your syrup on pizzas." And
Lord.
So that's why he came to the restaurant to check it out. And
did he eat the pizza?
He ate the pizza, and the woman that was with him was his sister, and they both loved the pizza. So he bought 10 pizzas and took them back to Abbeville. And then for several weeks after that, he'd come and get 10 boucheries, and I guess he was feeding his crew in Abbeville. So that was a really, really funny
probably
story.
in shock and awe that their syrup was on pizza and it tasted really good.
Right, because nobody had ever heard of that before.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was pretty cool. And we put it on at least 3 of our pizzas, and you can get syrup put on
any pizza. Okay,
yeah,
as a finisher?
As finishes. So a lot of people will get like the classic Cajun, which is an all-meat pizza with Cajun sausage and tasso, and they add that sweet, so it's that sweet and savory kind of flavor if you're into that. Same thing with the Cajun I am. I tell people, they're like, man, sweet potatoes on a pizza. And I'm like, when I was growing up, my grandmother, they were sharecroppers in Church Point. They weren't wealthy people. And so a lot of times when I'd go to my grandmother's house, a lot of Cajuns would just use whatever they had around the house. I mean, that's what they would, fix for breakfast or dinner. So most of the time, instead of eating, all that, we had eggs. But most of the time when we go to my grandmother's house for breakfast, we'd eat like cracklings and sweet potatoes and, syrup sandwiches or
breakfast
for breakfast, sugar sandwiches, something like that. But she used to make sweet potato boudin pie. And she'd take basically a pie shell. She'd put a half a layer of boudin in the bottom of the pan, and a half a layer of sweet potatoes that she had mixed with steamed syrup and brown sugar and stuff. And she'd bake it in the oven, put marshmallows on it. And
My God.
It was crazy good. But most people, when you think about it, they're like, I don't know. So we actually just did a pizza called the Cajun I Am. And it's really popular. I mean, people love it. It's a really cool
When
pizza.
did y'all come up with that one?
Probably like right before fall started. So I'd probably say last month.
Okay, so because I recently went to Pizza Artista at that location a couple times, took advantage of the buy one get one Tuesdays, because my little boy was out of school for a fall break, and I was like, let me get. But I don't remember looking at the menu thoroughly to see if I saw anything new.
Yeah, it may not be on the menu.
Okay.
Because usually what we do is we do posters and stuff, and we put them in the
Got
store.
it.
So and they're usually very close to where you place your order. So
Maybe, and I did see the poster, but I don't know if it was that one or y'all might have just released it, because I was looking at it and I don't remember it being that one, because I thought I'm pretty sure I would have noticed and been like, oh, that's an interesting one.
yeah, well, if you go to our Facebook page or whatever, you can see it. It's you might have to scroll through quite a few of the posts
Because y'all are active, yeah.
Yeah, but you'll see it's a pizza. It's got yams. It's got boudin, a good portion of boudin, marshmallows on a pizza. That freaks people out.
And they're toasted marshmallows, like they're on the pizza before they go into the fire, right?
They go on just like you get them out of the bag.
Nice.
And then
are they brown, like toasted brown on top?
Toast. Yeah, they're going to be toasted. They're going to be just like if you cooked them on a campfire.
Come on, man.
So and then we put American cheese, ghost pepper cheese, so it has a little bit of a kick on it. And when it comes out, we drizzle it with steamed syrup. I mean, it's one of my favorite pizzas.
So I'm more of a create your own type of guy, and my choice of pizza it's I love banana peppers. So I'll get the spicy red sauce. And I don't know too many people that know, like, oh, spicy red, or, unless they've been there a few times. But I get spicy red. I get, of course, mozzarella cheese, pepperoni. I do the banana peppers. I also do the purple red onions, whatever you want to call it. They're purple. Well, I think they're red onions. And then I'll get feta cheese sprinkled on top. And at the end, I'll usually get I'll get roasted red peppers too, but I also put like some cilantro at the end. And that's one of my favorite pizzas that I create myself. But I've tried the barbecue pizza, the barbecue chicken pizza, really good. But I haven't tried the newest ones. And my mouth is watering a little bit. I'll tell you.
Well, we used to, when we first rolled out the Fig and Awesome pizza, a lot of people were like, oh, man, figs on a pizza. I don't know. I've never heard of that before.
Yeah.
And, I would just tell people, look, try it. If you don't like it, I'll remake you whatever you want. And then they try it, and it's really weird. A lot of people, they'll try something, they like it, and that's what they get all the time.
Oh, they're stuck on it.
Right, they're stuck on it. They don't want to. They don't want to explore more than that. But create your own is probably 80% of our business. The majority of our guests come in. They choose our crust. We're known for our crust. We've been told that we have, some of the best tasting crust in the world. People have traveled around. Then you can choose your sauces. We have, traditional sauce, spicy sauce. Probably, I don't know how many other ones. Olive oil, barbecue sauce.
You have an Alfredo too?
Or is it Alfredo, okay. A really good Alfredo sauce. And the spicy is not really spicy. It's more seasoned. It's got a little bite on it, but nothing that's
it's not hard. Yeah, now my kid, my 6-year-old can detect spice in a McDonald's burger, but he's sensitive. But y'all's regular sauce is really good too.
Yeah. So and then you just go down the line. I think we have like 80 toppings, that you can choose from. I forgot how many cheeses, maybe like 10 or 11 cheeses and all kind of meats. We have all the Cajun meats. So we have Cajun sausage, tasso. We have all the seafood, Louisiana crawfish, Gulf Coast shrimp, crab, real crab, not the fake crab, real crab.
And not imitation,
yeah. Not the imitation stuff. And I don't know how many vegetables we have. We roast our garlic and our onions in-house every day. Everything's fresh.
Oh, roasted garlic, the whole cloves.
Yeah.
That's what I would put on my pizza as well. It's so good, man.
And then, like you said, at the end, you can get fresh herb finishes, whether it's basil or cilantro, barbecue sauce, syrup, hot honey. We have hot honey that I make myself.
Well, you make your own honey?
Making my own hot honey, yeah.
But so you have a honey farm, like a honeybee farm, or do you source the honey?
I source the honey.
Okay, but you make your own concoction.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm blessed to have one of my daughter is a food scientist.
Okay. All right.
So she kind of gives me some learnings on how to do certain things. Yeah. So I make my own hot honey. I've heard it's better than Mike's. People tell me it's better than Mike's hot honey. It's a lot less expensive than Mike's hot honey.
Wow.
But yeah, we have hot honey. We have pesto. You can use pesto as a sauce or as a finish.
Chicken pesto goes together, man.
Yeah, it's just like, crazy all the options we have. So we wanted everybody to be able to have a lot of options. We wanted to cater to people who have dietary restrictions. So we have low carb cauliflower crust.
My wife's favorite.
Really
she has to get it.
Yeah, it's really
good. It is really good.
It's very good.
You can't. If you did not know that it was cauliflower crust, you would just think that it's normal pizza crust.
Yeah,
it's really good, and it toasts a little bit different than the traditional dough. It has more of a crunch to it, not a hard crunch, but like just a little bit different. It's I don't know. It's hard to describe it.
Yeah, because it doesn't have the yeast and the flour to proof. It's made out of cauliflower really. But it's really got a good buttery taste, but we have to cook it a little longer. And so it's going to be a little darker, and we usually tell people that. And it usually takes maybe a minute longer to cook.
It doesn't take long to cook those pizzas.
Well, the oven we have cooks pizzas in 4 minutes. So we're told they could cook them in 1 minute, but we found that, pizzas just doesn't taste as good when you cook it too fast. We want to make sure that people can taste the flavors.
Yeah. You want it to meld together a little bit.
Yeah. So, and I love local pizza. Lafayette's a thin crust town.
Yes,
people
they are.
Thin crust pizza.
Thin crust crackery pizza.
Crackery pizza.
Not my favorite. My wife loves it. I wish we had a good deep dish pizza place over here, but I digress.
We'll start working on that. But so it's a thin crust town, and I love our competitors. I ate it one yesterday, and because it was close to me when I had my little medical procedure.
Yeah.
But a lot of these pizzas, they kind of all taste the same. Like you'll go to one of the local guys and they'll have 5 or 6 pizzas, But when it's all said and done, they kind of almost all taste the same. And we didn't want that. We wanted people, if you're going to create your own pizza, we want you to be able to taste the flavors, taste the onions, taste the garlic, taste the, and so that's what we're told that all the time, that our crust is phenomenal, that you can really taste the freshness and all the ingredients in our pizza. You know, more is not always best. If anybody's ever been to Italy, you'll find that you don't get hardly any toppings on a pizza in Italy. It's not going to be like,
it's not American pizza,
right? It's not American pizza, but we try to put a generous portion, but we want to make sure that we keep the flavor profile there. And, we do have like gluten-free for people who are celiac, like really gluten-free, like it's cooked in a pan. We change our gloves. We use uncontaminated utensils whenever we're dealing with that pizza. People love that about, Pizza Artista. We cater to people who are on vegan diets or vegetarian diets. So we try to hit it all, I guess.
Yeah. So, and that's awesome. I mean, that just goes to show you there that you guys actually care about the business and the customers that come in. I mean, one of the biggest things that you guys were known about, and I think still are, is your customer service aspect. With as soon as you walk in, the employees ask you, "Have you been here before?" Mm-hmm. And if you haven't, they give you, well, at least I remember they used to, 2 different colors of the pizza sheet. Yeah, so one was white and one was, I think, brown. So if you were new, you got one. If you were returning, you got the other. And so that way, the person down the line helping you make your pizza would know that you have been there. They kind of know how to engage with you. And so I love that aspect. One of my favorite things about Pizza Artista, and I'm not trying to be a fanboy here. I like pizza everywhere, but when I tell people why I like Pizza Artista, this might be weird for me, and I don't know if this is something that you guys pay attention to on purpose, or if it's just I just never got a bad pizza in this aspect, but it is the bottom of the crust. There are certain fast-fired pizza places in town that I've tried, and I've tried a couple times, and I could not get past the fact that there was all of the burnt dust on the bottom of the pizza.
Yeah.
It has a weird chalky taste to me, and you guys, I think, do a pretty good job of, I don't know if it's sweeping the oven or what you guys do, but the bottom of the pizza doesn't have the soot, and I love it.
Yeah. So there's quite a few things that go into that. So we do use the fast-fired oven, and it'll cook pizzas in 4 minutes. So that means if you're not paying attention to the oven for 20 to 30 seconds,
it's burnt.
You can burn a pizza, right? You can go from the perfect pizza to a burnt pizza. And most of the pizzas are going to be darker because of the way our dough's made. It's made with very high protein, high gluten flour because it has to withstand the heat of that oven. So when we actually press the dough, when we put it on a pizza peel to make the skins, to be ready to make the pizzas, we have to use a dusting agent. And so if the dusting agent is not like exact, you'll have some issues. You'll have grit, or you'll have like a flour powdery ash. So we try to watch that. We did change peels, so we kind of have to be a little bit more adamant about watching that. And then, like you said, the oven, we probably go through, in our 4 corporate stores, we probably go through 20 brooms a year. And these are brooms that cost $100 a piece.
To sweep out.
Constantly sweeping the oven. So one of the things that you'll see is when somebody's tending the oven, they're constantly sweeping that oven out because that grit and stuff falls off of the bottom of the skin. And if you don't, it'll char and it'll stick to the pizza, and it'll give it a kind of a burnt, rancid kind of grit kind of taste. And
when you say skin, what do you mean?
The pizza skin, the dough.
Okay. I was like, wait, skin? I've never heard skin in pizza before. So
I'm using some pizza terms.
Hey, that's good. That's good.
That people might not understand, but yeah. So once you've taken a dough ball, and we make our dough in-house, fresh every day.
Oh yeah. I see the press and everything.
Yeah. And then in the back of the house, it's like really crazy. I mean, we got this big old dough mixer, and I don't know how many 50-pound bags of flour, but we make our dough every day. Sometimes we have to make, 15, 16 batches of dough a day. It takes about 15 to 20 minutes a batch to make. And then we put it in the cooler, and then we'll take it out, and we take the dough ball, put it on the press it out. And then once it's pressed out and you put it on the pizza peel, that's when it's actually called a pizza skin. Skin, right? So, but if you call it dough, that's cool too.
I mean, that's for me. The word "skins" mentally just weird to say whenever I'm about to eat something. Yeah. So I'll say pizza dough. Yeah. I will be the non-connoisseur here, and I'll just say pizza dough.
Yeah, so that's pretty much a pizza term. But yeah, just if you guys call it dough, that's fine. We'll know exactly what you're talking about. But we're well known for our dough. One of the things when we were doing our planning for our business before we opened is we really wanted to focus on customer service. Like really, everybody says, hey, I want my people to be nice and whatever.
Right. Everybody aspires to have good customer service.
Right. But we wanted to take it to the extreme, and in today's age, it's just a little different. People are maybe not as social because of technology or whatever. So it's a little harder than it was probably in the 80s or the 90s. But we have processes in place where, we're blessed to have great people. Our people, they go through a pretty extensive process to get hired on. And my general manager, one of my managers, been with us the whole time, Emily, here at the Lafayette store. She's great. Matt in Baton Rouge, awesome guy. People from Lafayette probably know Matt's from Lafayette. He moved to Baton Rouge when we opened Baton Rouge. But, I really want to make sure that when people come in, they feel like they're wanted. They feel like, we want their business, not that they're an
inconvenience.
Right, an inconvenience, right. We really try to get to use names. We try to use our names. None of our people have name tags. I didn't like name tags when I worked for the big corporate corporation, because half the time people didn't have them on, and when they did have them on, they usually weren't their name tag.
Yeah. And then it's one of those things where, as a manager, if they don't have their name tag, it's such a trivial little thing. Like, why do I gotta pester you about a name tag? Like,
right.
So I get that aspect too, because then you don't want to feel too bossy. Like, hey, where's your name tag?
You definitely become the name tag policeman.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
And so, we don't wear name tags. We ask that our team members introduce themselves, and then we get the names. We have had to kind of change the process that you were talking about a little bit because of the supply chain issues that we've had, but the process still is in place. So if you've never been to Pizza Artista, usually they'll ask you if you've ever been. Yeah. Most of the people we know on a first name basis, so we don't even have to ask anymore. But if you are new and they don't ask, just let them know, because they'll do their best to try to educate you on some of the things that most people don't know. And then I had one of the people commented on the fundraisers. We from the get-go, one of the things that we wanted to do was really give back to the community. So I don't know how many of hundreds of thousands of dollars we've done fundraising for, with organizations for over the last 7 years. We do them. Our franchisees do them. They're very successful. We do a lot of fundraising for schools. We do some for college organizations.
Nonprofits too, right?
Yeah, nonprofits.
Okay.
When Hurricane Ida had hit the bayou, we did a big fundraiser for them. Raised a lot of money for that. Recently, Brian Rosa, the police officer, the Lafayette policeman that was hurt downtown while he was on duty, we did a fundraiser for him. I personally know Brian. It's almost like a nephew to me. And I don't know how many people know, but Brian was not, he was really in a bad way.
Yeah.
And it was touch and go for the first.
The video looked pretty rough.
Yeah, it was touch and go for the first few days. And in the beginning, we were just praying that he was going to be able to make it through.
How's he doing, by the way?
He's doing great. He's actually back to work.
as well. All right.
Yeah,
Good.
back to work.
Wow. He went back to work after that.
Went back to work.
Wow.
I mean, he's a really good guy. And but he was out of work for a while, and he has a daughter, and we just wanted to make sure that we supported him and his family, and the police departments. So we did a fundraiser for Brian, and it was a record day for our company that day.
Nice.
I mean, the amount of people that came into the Lafayette store and stood in line, because the line was out the door for 30 minutes just to be able to get to where you could order your pizza. It was incredible. So I don't know if we've ever really told anyone, but anyone who participated in that or had anything to do with it, we really appreciate it. I know Brian and his family really appreciated all the support. So, but that was just one way, that we wanted to give back. So if there's organizations out there that are looking to raise money, and go to info@pizzaartista.com and let us know, and we'll reach out.
Okay.
See what we can do.
Well, we just as you were talking, we got another comment in, so I'm gonna pull that up real quick. I don't know if I can show the whole thing, but it's kind of long. So Marie Williams says, "Hey, my family and I will visit Pizza Artista soon. I thank God for Mr. Kirk Miller being our district manager at the Leesville Domino's location when it was in the plaza next to Lamore nail salon." So yeah, Marie Williams comments.
Wow.
Thank you, Marie.
Yeah, appreciate that.
So yeah, so you got some people watching that obviously know you from the days prior.
Yeah,
to
the
Pizza
days
Artista.
prior. I worked for this other company for over 28 years and worked throughout all of Louisiana. So I've supervised stores in Lafayette, Baton Rouge, was in Monroe for a while, Shreveport, down in the North Shore, supervised some stores there, even some stores in Mississippi. So yeah,
Wow.
Lake Charles,
All over the place.
all over the place.
So I want to start wrapping up a little bit here. So what does the future look like for Pizza Artista? So right now you have how many locations total?
We have 4 corporate locations and 2 franchise locations, with one being built right now. So that'll be 3 that will have open.
So that's
probably
6?
March.
No, 7.
7. We have another one that temporarily is probably going to be opening soon, hopefully again in the Houston market. They opened during the pandemic, so that wasn't a.
It was hard, yeah.
Yeah, it was tough. And that's kind of what, we were like really blowing and growing. We had some little setbacks here or there, but then not to be negative, everybody's lived through it, but the pandemic really
it hurt everybody. It hurt
everybody.
restaurants and retail. I mean, you had to really pivot.
Yeah, it was something that we had to kind of really go back to the drawing board and rethink some things. But we were thankful enough to, be blessed to be able to make it through that. And then also in 2020, we had Hurricane Laura that destroyed my partner's home.
Lake Charles?
Yeah, they actually lived they live in Iway, right outside of Lake Charles. Their house was 85% totaled. And then our store was totaled. We had to rebuild it, and it took us about 5 months to rebuild the Lake Charles location. We actually opened another food court location in Lake Charles. And then right behind it was Delta that stung us a little bit, not to the same effect that Laura did. And then a year later, Ida comes along and reaps havoc on the state again. And we have a store in Baton Rouge that was kind of out of commission for a little while. So it's been tough.
Yeah.
Then the hiring issues. It's tough to staff the stores right now, especially when you're looking for really, a really high caliber team member. It's a little tough. And then we're all fighting, inflation, right? We're all fighting the high prices.
Oh yeah.
And the supply chain issues still continue today. So kind of threw us off of our game plan a little bit, but it seems like things are, kind of hard, kind of starting to settle back down. Hopefully, if inflation can maybe kind of go down a little bit. Like I said, we are opening a franchise location in Clarksville, Tennessee.
What? Wait, Clarksville, Tennessee?
Clarksville, Tennessee, which is about 20 miles north of Nashville.
Oh, my gosh.
So it's between Nashville
That's awesome.
and they have a big military base not far from there. It's right in the middle. And all my team members and myself are super excited to be able to go open the store, right.
Yeah, because you got to bring your A-game team members up there to train and all that.
Team members, and then they want to go, partake in Nashville.
Right. Well, of course. Right.
So
yeah.
So that's going to be exciting. So, but yeah, we've got area representatives from Louisiana all the way to Florida that are adamantly starting to now look for people who want to open Pizza Artista stores. We'd love to go to the Houston market. I've got a lot of friends who own restaurants in the Houston market, Cajun restaurants, and they just kill it over there. So yeah, we took a step back, but we're gonna start growing again.
Well, that's awesome, man. All right, so got one more comment, and then I'll go ahead and let you go because it's lunchtime, and all this talk about food, gosh, dog, man, it's got me hungry. Now, I have a friend of mine. We eat lunch pretty often, like at least once or twice a week. And he was asking me, he's like, hey, if they bring you pizza, make sure to let me know because I want some pizza. I'm like, oh, look, I'll see. I don't ask for anything. But yeah, so we got a comment here. Let me check it out real quick. So it is Marie Williams again. If you're interested in working for a great company, apply at Pizza Artista where they take care of you, of their team and their team members. So yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you, Marie, for that. So kind of closing up here, is there anything that we didn't talk about that you want to mention real quick?
Well, we are again looking for good people in all our stores. We've been really blessed here in Lafayette not to have as many issues as we've had in the other markets. But yeah, we are looking for good people. We do have self-pour beer in 2 of our locations.
There you go. Yep.
And we've had some problems with one of the systems here in Lafayette, but we got it all. We upgraded it. We got it rectified, and we're getting ready to roll out self-pour pitcher service.
Nice. So pitcher to the table?
Yeah, you'll be able to actually get a frozen pitcher, go pour your favorite beer.
There you go.
And get frozen mugs and have the same experience that you would have at some of these other local pizza places. Because nothing goes better with pizza than, good
beer, right?
ice cold beer.
Yeah. Well, Kirk, I really appreciate you coming in to talk about the company and to let us know about all the things you have in the works. It's really amazing to see a local company that started here, that's growing and continuing to do well. And I look forward to continue to be a customer at Pizza Artista.
So I really appreciate you having me, Ben. And, we appreciate the patronage, and we appreciate everybody in Acadiana. We special people here in Acadiana. So yeah, we love them.
All right, Kirk. Well, I appreciate you coming on.
All right. Thanks,
have a great one. All right. And then, guys, that's it. Y'all listen to the podcast on the audio format if you don't want to watch video. And with that, we'll see you on the next one. All right, Kirk.